Jessica Jones, episode 12, aka Take a Bloody Number. Now, this is the episode before the season finale. I haven't watched the last episode yet. I wanted to make sure I did 11 and 12 before I watched the final episode. And this was a really good one because this one, at least by the end, this one kind of did something that I thought of with Simpson when he killed Clemens. My big thing, for at least a split second, because it was such a shocking moment, I was like, maybe Killgrave has had control of him for a much longer time than we expected, and then that wasn't the case. But in this episode, that's exactly what happened, because Killgrave has had his father working for him to basically increase his powers, and it's worked. Like they had that little test at the bar, and so everyone, I think it was like Jessica said, it controls like 600 people, or it holds 600 people. So it went really far, but they talk about how, it didn't cover like the whole place because people in the back were still saying that he sucked and everything. So his powers still have a limit, and we do find out that even with his increased abilities, fortunately, he can't control Jessica. But we do find out that he's had control of Luke Cage the entire episode. Like everything Luke was saying was from Killgrave's mind. And then even at the end when they go into the bar, they show that guy where he was like, go across the bar and look at that fence and stand there forever. That I think was like 2 days before, or it could have just been a day, but I'm pretty sure that was like 2 full days because it was that night. So it was at least 24 hours, and it normally only takes 12 before his powers were off. So that was twice as much time, if not more than twice as much time. And that was pretty crazy. Like, he was still there. Killgrave had been, wherever. Who knows what random person's house he took. So who knows how far he actually was. He says, like with the whole Luke Cage thing, that it was like 100 yards or whatever. But I don't know. It was just crazy to see. Like, everything that happened this whole episode, Luke Cage was still under Killgrave's control. And everything was just like, alright, just basically play it cool, act like you're not under my control, find out what Jessica's doing, call me back, let me know what's happening. And it was just insane to me. It was like, how in the world, all this time, and it's just like, this is what's actually been happening the whole episode. And it was just crazy to actually get that get that experience, really. But it was pretty cool. It was a great little reveal at the end of the episode, and then we actually see Jessica and Luke fight, which I figured we'd have to at some point, because it's like, with them both having super strength, it's like, they kind of have to do that, don't they? Like, it's kind of a no-brainer, like, have Luke Cage versus Jessica Jones, and just, at least for a little bit. And that's what we get at the end of this episode. Like, Jessica gets tossed because Luke Cage is, like, super huge, so he's technically stronger than her with his unbreakable skin, and so he tosses her, but she's fighting back and everything. Like, they have that moment where they're kind of at a standstill, and he's pushing her, but then she starts to push back. So that was kind of cool, where they had that sort of back and forth struggle. And then it's like, she doesn't, he's stronger than her because of the unbreakable skin. So she's kind of on the defensive in this case, and she's like, when she was about to jump at Killgrave, he like grabbed her and like slammed her on the ground and stuff. And then when she went after Killgrave and she went into the room, and like her phone went off, I knew he was gonna break through the wall. I'm like, he's not gonna kick this door open. He's gonna bust straight through the wall, and that's exactly what happens. And I like the way it looked, because it wasn't super fast. It was like he broke through, but he still kind of had to struggle to rip her through the wall. I actually like how that looked. I was like, that's kind of cool. It wasn't just like boom and she just like flew out of the wall like it was super easy, which technically with super strength I guess it would have been. But she also had that giant bar kind of holding her back for a little. And then it was just like, nope. And he was able to like, rip her through the walls. Like, that actually looked kind of cool because he had to struggle to do it. It wasn't just like, he could use like 2 fingers and just, yank her through the wall. He actually had to struggle to do it. And I was like, that's actually kind of awesome. I just thought that was really sweet. So, really enjoyed the ending scene. The actual ending was pretty crazy, where she actually has to shoot him with a shotgun and like knock him out because he couldn't control it. Like, he had his little couple of seconds, and it's like, you can stop this. Like, you're stronger than me. You can fight him. And it would be like a split second where he'd stop. And like at the end, it was even longer than the first time. And still like, do what you gotta do. So she had to knock him out. Of course, he's totally fine. I don't think they're gonna do anything crazy like, oh, he woke up and he has amnesia. That would be interesting. And then it's like all of Luke Cage is him trying to remember his life for like 13 episodes. But I don't think that'll be the case. It's she had to knock him out, which is of course not something she wanted to do, but he'll be fine, and then she can go on into the last episode and take out Killgrave. Trish in this episode actually ran into her mother, which was something. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. Like her mother's still her mother, but she does help her out a little bit after she finds out about the IGH group, which is the group Simpson's in. So we find out that not only are they involved in whatever craziness is going on with Simpson, but they're also the ones that covered the bill for Jessica's surgery. So maybe they were the ones who owned that truck. Maybe it was their chemicals or whatever that spilled on Jessica and boom, super strength, which we get to see in some flashbacks. I didn't mention this in the last one because it was just like, I think the only flashback in the last episode was Jessica first finding her abilities. There may have been a couple in the last one because I believe they did it in the last episode and this one a little bit, and they may have all been in the last episode because I really can't remember from just last night. I mix the episodes up so bad. It's like sometimes I can't remember what scenes were in what episodes. But we got the flashbacks and stuff from Jessica having her abilities, and all that time it was just like, oh, okay, well, I didn't even think about the fact that she, of course she'd have medical bills until they really talked about it. It's like, no, IGH covered that. So now it's kind of like maybe when they came and got Simpson in that last episode, maybe they, kind of just knew, considering who he was involved with, like, oh, he's involved with, Trish. She's basically been the adopted sister of Jessica Jones for years now. And, they've known who both of them are since the accident. So maybe they've had tabs on Jessica for a really long time. And, it's just like who knows what they're doing? Because obviously they aren't trying to, force her to do anything because she doesn't know about them. So who knows what the heck's going on with this group. But this kind of just, confirms it a little bit that they are going to be in season 2. They're going to be the really big thing because they're this crazy mystery. I don't know what to expect from them, but I love it. I think that it's an awesome little thing, and it's humans at this point. It's all human characters, but there's real easy potential for there to be an actual superhuman villain behind it. But I certainly love this mystery group. It's they've known about Jessica for a long time. Maybe they did cover the bill simply because they thought, all right, if she's alive, we need to keep her alive for, however long. And maybe they have been keeping tabs on her. It's just all right, she's a PI, this is what she's doing, this and that, and she's connected to this murder, that murder, and this and this and this. And they're just trying to see, all right, this is what's happening in her life, this is what's changed, and this is what hasn't. So maybe they know she has powers. I mean, even in the first episode, she's like, I'm not exactly hiding my powers, I just don't tell people about it. So, it's kind of gotta be a little careful with it, I guess. But we get the answer to, sort of an answer to what this mystery group is all about and who they are. But the other thing, the other half of this episode, which is just Killgrave expanding his abilities, that was really crazy. That was really fun, and we have him just toying with Jessica. Really, the whole episode, by the end, we find out all of this was really just him messing with Jessica, because it's all right, he found out about, he did know about Luke's superpowers because he says, oh, I told him to keep tabs on you before the explosion. So he knew about the unbreakable skin and everything, and it's just a really long con, basically, and it was pretty nuts. And he's got all these experiments going with his dad, and him messing with his dad, put your hand slowly in the blender and stuff. Just stop right there. It's are you focused now? Just a crappy person, just all around. He's just a really crappy guy, but he does make for an amazing villain, and he certainly did it again. He did it in this episode, and it was just, the whole thing was just really crazy, and I don't know what to expect for this last episode, but I'm very excited. They've kind of been doing some interesting stuff with Malcolm's character and Ruben's sister. I still don't bother to remember her name, to be totally honest. I just still don't really like her. Which I guess isn't fair to not know her name, but I just don't like her as a character. They did it well. They certainly made her unlikable in the perfect way, because she really is. Even when you feel sad for her, it's like she took that sadness and just made it more of her being kind of bitchy and crazy, to be totally honest. And like, she doesn't, all the stuff with Killgrave is like, she knew, I mean, it seemed like she wasn't even remotely listening to what people were saying during that little conversation. Like, hey, he tells you what to do and then you do it. And then, of course, that led to them all being on nooses and almost being killed. And then now it's like she's super paranoid and she's freaking out and she doesn't even know what time of day it is, which obviously she was a little crazy beforehand, because Ruben mentioned, like, oh, we have, like, foil over the windows, so that she, I guess, just wouldn't even know what time it was. Because she's like, oh, she's in the middle of the night and everything. And it's like, it's 6 p.m. Like, what the heck are you talking about? So she's, like, almost completely lost her mind. And Malcolm kind of has to take her to where he dumped Ruben's body. And she does find some way to, kind of, because she kind of brings it back by the end a little bit. I kind of feel a little bit better about her character, because she's like, not everyone deserves to be given, another chance, but only the people you care about. So that way when, they are gone, you still feel love, and it's not just a bunch of hatred and everything. So I was like, okay, that was a nice moment for her character still. I don't know what they're going to be doing in the finale and how that's going to play out, but, Malcolm kind of had an interesting little trajectory, because it was like he was taking off, and it's like, he did everything he could to try to help Jessica, and he kind of feels like at this point it's just like him in danger, pretty much. And that's kind of what it is. He's kind of right that he's totally in danger, and it's like all he had been doing was really trying to help her, and then, like with the Supermax thing, he took a huge risk doing that, and it did seem kind of like Jessica, because she was going on with this ridiculously insane plan, she kind of didn't give a crap, and she was only mad at him for doing that, which she obviously showed by still jumping, diving into the water and ripping Ruben's head off. So, it's like he did that, and then he just has to deal with all this stuff with Ruben, and then the whole thing with the group happens, and his sister finding out. So he's just been like after he finally got clean, all he'd been doing was trying to help, and it just led to a downward spiral for him, because of kind of starting with Jessica's downward spiral with that horrible Supermax plan. Like, that just keeps coming back to me, and it was just such a bad plan. But ever since that episode, it's kind of just been crappy for him. Like, he's trying to do the best that he can, and there's always some little thing that's an issue. Like, first it was with Jessica not being mad at him for actually helping her, and then it's him getting busted when he's at the group and everything, and then of course him almost killing himself. So, he's trying to take off, and I'm assuming he'll still be in the final episode, and they'll kind of just resolve everything, and he'll probably stick around, and that way he'll be in season 2. But I thought he had an interesting little moment as well. He was finally about to take off, and then it's like, crap, I'll just deal, I'm going to freaking help her, because she's still going a little insane after she's known the truth. So, he takes her where Ruben is, and they find some sort of conclusion to all of her sadness and grief. So I certainly enjoyed that, even though it was a small portion of the episode, but actually fairly enjoyable. So I did like that. Like I said, really loved the reveal at the end, where it's been, I think, once again, like 48 hours, or just about, because it was 16 that morning, the day of the episode, and then, so it's nighttime, so it's probably been about, I guess it's not 48 hours, but it's been about 48 hours, like 30 something for sure. And that kid, that was definitely over 24 hours, because that was, or maybe that was, I guess that was after, I guess that was less time than Luke Cage, so I guess it wasn't 48 hours for sure. But overall, great episode leading up to the finale. Really looking forward to this last episode, but of course want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and I want to know what you guys thought about the reveal. Sorry about the squeaky noise. Chewy, as a dog, he's on this little squeaky toy. Yes, you, Chewy. You want to be on camera? Oh, no, he took off. I'm going to put him on camera, but he's taking off. But I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. The big thing I want to know is what you guys thought about the reveal. So just please let me know about that. And just what you guys are expecting for this finale as well. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.